We have another speaker that we want to bring up here, and he's going to talk. He's going to give you a little curriculum about cannabis. His name is John DeBork, and he has a little speech to talk about. It's called the Cannabis Curriculum. Give it up for John DeBork.
Alrighty, thanks a lot, Mike. Looks good. Thank you very much, and thanks to Jim Fowler for putting on this event. This is a great event. I'm very glad that everybody's here, and thank you very much. Why are we here? I'm here because of reefer madness. Our government, for the last 70 years, has demonized the cannabis plant. They have tried to convince society that there are absolutely no redeeming qualities to cannabis hemp. They've brainwashed us with a lot of advertising, like the Just Say No campaign, that this is your brain on eggs campaign, no, your brain on drugs campaign. All of this propaganda, trying to brainwash society into this. They've arrested millions of Americans. Nonviolent Americans have been arrested simply because they use this herb. Thousands of people are killed every year in gang violence directly related to the prohibition of cannabis. And they actively stifle research into the medical properties of a safe, effective, and cheap drug. And to top it all off, they won't even let our farmers grow hemp. It's amazing. Industrial hemp, it has a lot of different uses. They won't let our farmers grow it. Our government has stigmatized an entire class of society simply because they use cannabis. We need to turn reefer madness into reefer gladness. We're all here. We're in on the secret. We know that cannabis is a great plant. We know it's a great medicine. We know it helps inspire us. We know it helps relax us. We know hemp is a great thing. So we all love cannabis. And it's up to us to tell everybody else about this. I don't want to be preaching to the choir. I want to preach to the preachers. I want everybody here to learn as much as they can about cannabis and let everybody else know. That's how we can unbrainwash society. We have to educate ourselves and everybody else. And there's so many different subjects. I'm trying to motivate students in school to do class projects, term papers, research efforts, go to a science fair, do a science fair project on some part of the beneficial aspects of cannabis hemp or the devastating effects that its prohibition has on society. I want the students to do this. They do research. They tell their classmates and their friends. They tell their professors and their teachers, because a lot of them don't know about it. They tell their parents, because a lot of our parents don't know about all the great things about cannabis. And then I'm going to create a Cannabis Curriculum Clearinghouse, which is a database of research where everybody can put information in and take it out for their research so we can continue building and growing and learning about this great plant. So that's what I'm trying to motivate people. And it doesn't matter what subject you're taking in class, and even if you're not a student, but a student of life, there are a lot of different things that you can do to let people know about cannabis. We've got cannabis, we got medical marijuana, which is like 5 to 15% THC, and you've got hemp, which is less than 1% THC. That's the only difference between hemp and marijuana, is the level of THC. They're both cannabis sativa. It's both the same plant. We have to legalize the entire plant, hair, snoot, balls, and all, the whole plant. We don't want to split it into the medical marijuana and hemp sides. We want the whole plant. Cannabis has been used for thousands of years by almost every civilization on earth. We've used it for medicine. They used it, the stalk, for rope, for paper, for clothing, and then they realized the flower was a really good medicine and it relaxed them and it had a lot of beneficial medicinal aspects. And the seed, the hemp seed, is very healthy. So we have one plant that can do all of these different things, and it was used by almost every civilization on earth. But we need to study that. We need to learn more about the history of this great plant. The engineering, if we have any people that are into engineering out here, because of reefer madness, our farmers have not been growing hemp. So all of the machinery to process, to harvest, to cut down the hemp, there's been no research and development in it. So we need a lot of work to be done in this area so that we can start, when we do start growing hemp, we'll know how to process it. We also need to study the tensile strength of hemp. Hemp grows about 10 feet tall, and the hemp fiber runs the entire length of the stalk. So the tensile strength of this hemp fiber is very, very strong. You can do a lot of things with it, composite plastics and things like that. But we need a lot more research. So if you've got any engineers out there, I need your help. If you're into environmental sciences, environmental studies, hemp is tremendous. Hemp does so many great things. You can make biodegradable hemp plastic out of the stalks. You can make biodiesel out of the seed. You can make ethanol out of the inner part of the stalk. Is called a hurd. 70% cellulose. So you can make ethanol out of that, and you can also compress the stalk into wood pellets for your wood burning stoves. So you have all these different fuel sources. And we need to compare hemp to corn and other plant crops to show that hemp is a much better source of fuel. They're making car parts out of hemp. The long fiber is very strong, it's biodegradable, and it's lightweight. So car makers, automakers are learning if they want to make green cars, using hemp is an excellent thing for that. There's a property called phytoremediation. Hemp can draw toxins out of the soil and it stores it in the seeds. After the Chernobyl nuclear accident in the 80s, they planted hemp all around the nuclear plant and it helped detoxify the soil. So we need to use hemp to help us clean up our environment. So there's just so many different things you can do with hemp in the environmental area. If you're into architecture or construction, and we might have some people that are in the building industry out here, you can build an entire house out of hemp. It's amazing. The inner part of the stalk, the hurds, you mix that with lime, sand, and water, and it makes a concrete. It's a very good insulator. It's fireproof. It's breathable, so it absorbs moisture when it's wet out, and it lets the moisture back out, so it keeps a very stable temperature. This hemp concrete is going to be a great new product. They're building houses in England, and they built a few houses in North Carolina, so this is going to be a new thing. You can make particle board out of hemp, so you can build a house out of it. You've got concrete, you can make particle board, you can make hemp composite shingles, you can make insulation, and you can also use hemp fiber for carpet, upholstery, and draperies. So you literally can build an entire house out of hemp, and you can heat it with the biodiesel or the wood pellets. So you've got all these great things about the stalk that you can do with hemp. But the hemp seed is also tremendously healthy, and it's tremendously good for you. It's very high in protein, it's high in fiber, it's high in the essential fatty acids, the omega-3 and omega-6 essential fatty acids, but it will not get you high. You cannot fail a drug test by eating hemp foods. So remember that. But it's got so many other great properties. It's cholesterol-free. It's gluten-free. So there's a lot of people out there that can't eat wheat products because of the gluten. Hemp is no problem. If you're lactose intolerant and you can't drink milk, drink hemp milk. It's very good for you. There are no known allergies to hemp foods, which is amazing when you think of how many people are allergic to peanuts these days. So there's a lot of great hemp foods out there. There's hemp milk, shelled hemp seed, hemp power bars, hemp protein powder, and you can buy hemp products at a lot of different stores. And one thing that everybody can do to help end prohibition is to buy more hemp products. And the reason this is because if we can make the hemp industry big enough, we can convince our government to let our farmers grow hemp. So help fight prohibition, help end prohibition, one delicious bite at a time, and go out and buy some hemp foods. They're all over the place, at Whole Foods, at your local health food store in Portsmouth, and all over the place, and in Portland. And if your shopkeeper doesn't have it, let them know. Tell them you want your hemp foods. Hemp seed oil is very good for the skin also. The essential fatty acids and emollients help moisturize your skin and make it very soft. Hemp seed oil is very good for a number of skin ailments, and there are a lot of great hemp seed oil products out there. There's and Dr. Bronner's has done a lot. I'm sure everybody knows about Dr. Bronner's soap. They've been around for a long time. They use a lot of hemp seed oil in their soaps. So go out and buy some Dr. Bronner's. You're going to be helping yourself, the environment, and the hemp industry. If we need to understand the economics of the hemp industry, because we are starting an entire industry from the ground floor. It's very, very small, and it's very difficult. All of the hemp products in America right now that you get are imported because our farmers can't grow hemp. We have to import that hemp from Canada, China, and Europe. So the cost is going to be a lot higher than normal products. Also, the economies of scale hasn't kicked in yet. They're only growing like 30,000 acres of hemp in Canada, where they're growing like 200 million acres of corn, wheat, cotton, and soy in America. So they're growing so much less hemp, the price is higher. So keep that in mind, because the hemp products are higher, and a lot of people say, I don't want to buy hemp products because the price is so high. But we have to understand that they're not making near as much of it, so the price is going to be higher, and we need to support the hemp industry that way. I also think industrial hemp can help revitalize rural America, and up in Maine too. The farmers could use this. Local farmers, local economies. If you could grow your own building materials, you can grow your own seed, which you can make fuel out of, and you can grow your own paper and clothing. The neighborhoods and the areas would become more self-sufficient, and that money would keep getting spent over and over again locally instead of sending it overseas or across country. We need people to invent new products made out of hemp. We are at the ground floor of this, the hemp industry. If you ever wanted to be on the ground floor of anything, this is it. The sky is the limit. But because the industry is so small, we have to remember to make sure you take small steps, because the expenses are going to be a lot higher, the competition is going to be really brutal, and this is a war. And like any war, the first ones over the hill are a lot of times the first casualty. So keep that in mind. But we do need entrepreneurs and innovators out there starting new companies, inventing new products. We need to study how hemp and cannabis, especially cannabis and marijuana, is portrayed in the music industry. We know that Willie Nelson and Bob Marley, that cannabis influenced them greatly. But there are a lot of different television shows now where they have cannabis and marijuana, and the people that are smoking it are a lot more normal. It used to be everybody was, if you're smoking marijuana on a TV show, you're definitely not, they're showing you in a bad light. Now they're changing the portrayal of marijuana users, which is a good thing, but we need to study that and look at that. Also, there's a couple in Cambridge, Mass. that has written a musical, a hemp musical. If anybody wants to put on a hemp musical, the Caitlin County Hemp Wars is a great story. It's got great music, and it's about a family trying to save their farm by growing hemp. So if anybody wants to, if we have any geeks out there that want to help me put on this musical, the writers of this musical will come up and help work with you on that, so let me know. We've had a lot of great talk about medical marijuana. Dr. Sulak talking about all the great things that cannabis can do for you. We talk about the endocannabinoid system. We need to do a lot more research on the endocannabinoid system. They also recently sequenced the cannabis genome. So we have all this data from the cannabis genome, but we need people to take that data and analyze it and learn exactly what we can do with this. And there are over 60 cannabinoids. Everybody knows about THC. That's a cannabinoid that gets you high, and Dr. Sulak was talking about CBD, but there's over 60 other cannabinoids. And you could even, if you discover a cannabinoid, you get to name it. So you could name it something like tetrahydrocannabidiol or something like that. So do some research and come up with your own cannabinoid. We need to look at the public policy. Our government has what I call a catch 422. They will not let us do research into cannabis. They say and we ask, why can't we do research? And they say, well, it's not safe and effective. So people say, well, let us do research and we'll prove that it's safe and effective. They say, no, you can't. And we say, why not? They say, well, because it's not safe and effective. So they use this circular argument to prevent research. We have to understand this and work our way around it. We need to put the THC back into healthcare. And a gram a day keeps the doctor away. Cannabis is showing to be a synergistic shotgun. It's so good for so many things. Dr. Sulak was talking about it, fighting cancer. It's also very good for treating Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It's good for bipolar disorder. It's good for asthma. It's a bronchodilator. And it's also very good for post-traumatic stress disorder, which a lot of our veterans have. So if you care about your veterans, and I know you do, we need to work with our Veterans Administration to make sure that they have safe and effective access to this very good medicine. We need to look at all the different delivery systems. And a lot of our opponents say you shouldn't smoke marijuana. That's no way to take your medicine. And actually it is a perfectly fine way to take your medicine, but you don't have to smoke marijuana to get its therapeutic benefits. You can vaporize it. We've got a lot of great vaporizers here. You can use it as a tincture and drink it, and an edible, a medible, or you can even use it and apply it topically as an ointment. We need more research into this area. We need to understand which delivery system works best for which ailment. We need to show that cannabis is much safer than alcohol. There's no lethal dose to cannabis. You cannot kill yourself smoking cannabis, while unfortunately way too many people do drink themselves to death or overdose on illegal pharmaceuticals. So if you're on pain medications and you're finding out that cannabis is reducing the number of pain medications that you use and improving your quality of life, let people know about that. Let your doctor know about it. Doctors don't know this, so we need to let them know. We need to talk about it. There's also the gateway theory. A lot of people always say marijuana will put you on a slippery slope to addiction. It's a gateway drug. And I agree, it is a gateway drug, it is. But it's proving to be a gateway away from tobacco, a gateway away from alcohol, and a gateway away from debilitating pharmaceuticals and other narcotics. And it's true, I know a lot of people that have quit cigarettes and alcohol and other drugs, and now they're smoking a little bit of marijuana every day. It's very great. So it is a gateway drug, it's just a good gateway. A lot of people self-medicate it without even knowing it. They may have ADHD, they may be depressed, they may have anxiety, and they smoke a little marijuana and it makes them feel better. So there's just a lot of different applications to this very good drug. We need to understand the economics of prohibition. Pharmaceutical companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars every year researching and marketing these pharmaceuticals, drugs that have a laundry list of side effects, while you can grow marijuana in your backyard for dollars on the ounce. In Israel, they're providing medical grade marijuana to patients for $30 an ounce. High grade marijuana, $30 an ounce. That's how much it costs to produce. That's what it should be. But we need to calculate how much we could be saving if more people use cannabis. We need another catch 422 is our government putting these roadblocks up to the dispensaries in California and Colorado. They recently said, in addition to busting a lot of these dispensaries, they said that the dispensaries cannot deduct taxes. They cannot deduct business taxes because cannabis is illegal, so it's not a legal business. So they're throwing up all these roadblocks in front of the dispensaries, but the medical industry is still growing, fortunately, so that's a great thing. We need to document the amount of money that's wasted every year in the custody industry. How much is wasted arresting, putting on trial, convicting, incarcerating, putting on probation, and drug testing, nonviolent drug users. Over 700,000 Americans a year are arrested for cannabis and put into the criminal justice system. And a very high proportion of them are minorities and low-income people. So they're discriminating against a large class of society through prohibition. We need to document the expenses being wasted, and we need to show that we're wasting all this money. We could spend the money in a lot better ways. We need to look at the medical rights in the workplace. If you're using medical marijuana in the workplace, you have to make sure you maintain your rights. We need to look and see how marijuana has been used for philosophy and religion, theology over the ages. A lot of people use marijuana for inspiration as part of their religion. It gives them good thoughts and it helps them think clearly. We need to document that and show that people that use cannabis are just normal people, just like you and me. We need to look at the political science. Why are some industries, some countries and states more liberal and conservative than others? There's a lot of work, a lot of study to be done out there. We need to look at the sociology of this. Is there going to be a watershed event when society has its aha moment and they're just going to say, dang, prohibition's wrong, we need to end it? Or is it going to be like a billion baby steps where we incrementally march forward and finally turn the page, which is probably more likely the baby steps, and just keep working. Everybody here is making huge baby steps forward together, and I really appreciate it because we are changing this. And even if it's going to be a long fight, so even if we legalize marijuana tomorrow, the stigma is still going to be there for a long time, so we still have a lot of work to do. And everybody cannot do everything, but everybody can do something. So if everybody does a little bit, then we're all going to be working together to end prohibition. We need to look at the cannabis conundrum. We have a lot of different groups. We have the medical marijuana people, we have industrial hemp, and we have the activists. And we all don't seem to be getting along. We fight a lot, and we can't really put our heads together and work together to end this prohibition. So we need to figure out how we can all just start working together. And one thing that everybody can do is communicate more. we can write letters to the editors, we can call into the talk shows, talk to our doctors, talk to our family, talk to our friends, let them know that cannabis is a great plant. We need to come out of the cannabis closet. We need to open the debate. The media controls this issue. If we take the debate to them and let them know that we want to debate this issue, they can't win a logical debate against prohibition. Because you just can't say, you can't deny patients their medicine. You cannot say that farmers shouldn't be able to grow hemp. And you can't say it's logical to be locking up nonviolent people just because they're smoking a little pot. It's just not right. So we can win that debate, but we need to take it to them. We need to go on the radio shows, host shows. We need to send information back and forth, get on Facebook, do it, whatever you can to communicate. And the common answer to all of the questions, why can't patients get their medicine? Why can't farmers grow hemp? Why are our jails full of nonviolent drug offenders? It's the prohibition, stupid. That is the problem. Prohibition is the key root evil of this, and we need to end cannabis prohibition today and move on to a better and more peaceful tomorrow. So thank you very much for your time, and peace.